Do you ever feel like your body is just exhausted with life stuff, movement, lifting the kids, bending to tidy, carrying all the things? That's where movement patterns come in. Today I'm going to break down what they are, why they matter for you as a parent, and how just 3 exercises can really help you feel stronger and more supported. Welcome to the Happy Thriving Mums podcast, the show that talks about the simple actions busy mums like you can take to prioritise your own health, happiness and fitness. And it doesn't stop there. This show also includes amazing stories from remarkable women who help others to be the best version of themselves. Because if you feel great, you thrive, and so does your family. So, if you're ready to overcome mum guilt, manage overwhelm, feel and look your best, and create a happier, more balanced life for yourself and your family, this podcast is for you. Hello and welcome to today's episode. Today I am talking about movement patterns. Movement patterns sounds like some kind of fitness jargon, and I guess it could be, but they are basically actions that you do every single day, and as a parent you are doing them constantly. So examples of movement patterns include pushing, pulling, squatting, hinging and rotating. So these aren't just gym terms, these are movements that we are completing just to complete everyday tasks. So I'll give you some examples. When you get up off of a chair or off of the floor, you are going through a squatting movement pattern. When you bend down to unload the dishwasher, to pick up bags, to pick up your kids, all these kind of things, that is a hinging movement. When you are reaching for things, so maybe you're driving along and you're reaching to give something to your kids behind, or you're turning around or twisting, they are rotating patterns. Pushing patterns, quite obvious, pushing a buggy, opening a door, maybe playing with something on the floor, and finally pulling, which is when you are pulling something up towards you or down towards you even. So it could be carrying a bag, lifting a baby, moving something towards you out of a cupboard, that kind of thing. So these movements, these patterns, these actions, we are doing all of the time. And the thing is, as we have our children getting older, these movements can become more challenging. So, clear example is lifting our kids. We know every single day they are getting bigger, they are getting heavier. There will be a time where there will be no more chance to actually physically pick up your child and lift them to you because they'll just get too big, and that will happen unless obviously you are some kind of super strong person, but it is likely that that will happen to most of us. So these movements are really important that we practice them. If we practice these movements, we become more acclimatized to doing them. They become easier. That's why when we're thinking about our age, as we get older, as we get towards our latter years of life, these kind of movements need to be practiced, need to be trained, because unfortunately in this country and across a lot of areas of the world, we see, or it is the norm, that as you get older, you become more sedentary. You don't move so much. People that retire, in some cases, don't get out of the house and move around as much as they used to. We become much more sedentary, sat in front of the TV, sat doing this, sat doing that, when actually we have the capability to continue moving and moving well and moving easily well into our latter years. But it's about training these movements, practicing these movements, load bearing these movements, so adding weight to them so that we are improving our muscularity, we are improving our strength, we are, if you're not improving it, you're at the very least maintaining it, so that activities of daily living, whether it is picking up shopping bags, whether it is pushing a trolley around a supermarket, whether it is picking up your children, whatever it is, are easy, and we can do them without kind of huffing and puffing or finding things really tough. So for mums especially, there are various movement patterns which matter more. And this is this idea of functional movement. So moving in a way which is functional to our lives. Mum life is functional movement on repeat. So my children are now 5 and 8, and maybe I'm not picking them up and putting them down as much as I used to, but I am still picking them up, giving them cuddles. I'm still, at the moment, my daughter's got an obsession with taking extra books into school to share with her friends to read. Her bag is so heavy, it is unreal. So, carrying bags. How many times have you been carrying literally about 10 bags? And you don't know what's in them particularly, but you've got them and you are lugging them around. That is a functional movement. That is one of these movement patterns. Going and doing shopping in a supermarket, pushing the trolley around, all of these things are really, really important. And therefore, by training these movement patterns, it can help you move through your daily life with much more ease. It can help to alleviate and avoid back pain and pelvic pain because you are developing a strong sense of core which supports those two things. It can help you to rebuild your strength after having your children, so postnatal rebuild of strength. It can also help prevent fatigue. If you are exercising regularly, stressing your body, you are teaching your body to deal with stress. So actually exercising is giving your body a way to become familiar with challenging situations, being familiar with working harder than normal. And because you're giving yourself time to then recover and respond, you can deal with things better. So it can help prevent burnout and it can help prevent fatigue because your body is used to moving these weights. And finally, by training these movements, it can also help you feel more confident and more capable to, well, firstly, go about daily life and things feel easy. I don't know about you, but personally, when I reach the age of 80, 90, 100, I would love and want to be able to be independent still. I don't want to be in fear that if I fell over, I don't have the strength and the ability to kind of support my body. That's why these movements are so important now, but also throughout the rest of your life. So helping you to feel more confident and capable is a great thing, not just now, because obviously if you've just had children and you're in those baby stages, sometimes your confidence is actually feeling quite dented and quite kind of vulnerable. So by doing something which can help you feel better about things, exercise is a huge mood boost, as I say so regularly. It can help you feel better about everything. It can bring out inner confidence and it can make you feel more capable. So the top movement patterns that I think mums are most commonly doing are the following. Firstly, let's talk about the squat pattern. So a squat pattern is when you are bending at the hips and the knees and the ankles to lower the body. So mums do this all the time. Think how many times in a day you sit down and then you have to get up again. You sit down, someone says, "Mum, can you get me this?" And you have to get up again. You sit down and then you get, I don't think I've had a dinner in 8 years where I haven't sat down and immediately been asked to get up again and get something else from the kitchen. So this, I think, is probably our most common one. It's also when you sit down on the floor to play with your kids. It's a really, really important one. So it is fundamental that we train this, and we use this squat pattern through doing something like a squat, and there's so many different variations of squat, because squats can help build leg strength, core strength, they can support the joints in the lower body, and by doing this pattern it mimics so many different movements. And obviously when you're doing an actual squatting exercise, you're looking at certain forms. So you're trying to have a nice straight back, you're trying to make sure that your bottom is moving downwards and your knees are driving forwards over your toes. And you want to make it nice and strong so that you are supporting and building those muscles which you squat so regularly using. So my first movement is the squat. The second movement that I think mums use constantly is the hinge pattern. So the hinge pattern is a hip hinge. So it's when you are bending at the hips whilst keeping your back flat. That is generally what it is seen as. So this is something that you do if you think of in a gym or in an exercise, it's something like a deadlift movement, or when you are picking something up with proper form. So a hinge pattern is really important because it helps you return to upright positions. It's helpful to strengthen the back and the glutes and the hamstrings, and it can help to protect your spine. So we use these hinge patterns quite often in lifting. So often we might bend down to pick something up and you arch your back, and that's putting real strain on your back. So hinging with good form actually can really help to keep your back nice and healthy, can strengthen all the muscles around it so that you are supported, and it helps you with things such as picking up your children, picking up bags, all of those things. My next two movements kind of sometimes can go hand in hand because you might do one before you do the other or vice versa. But the first one I'm going to talk about is the pull movement pattern. So pull is basically when you are drawing your arms towards the body. I'm actually sat here doing it, but no one can see me. So it's drawing your arms towards the body. And again, especially when you have got tiny children, which you are lifting up all of the time, this is really a fundamental movement. Getting them out of car seats, getting them out of high chairs, getting them out of bed. This is where you are using that pull movement. And so it's a real important one. And I was talking to a mum friend the other day who's got a small baby. And I actually think when you have your children and they're young, your arm and upper body strength is at its absolute maximum because you are literally all day picking up these weights, pulling them towards you, pushing them away, putting them down, that kind of thing. That upper body strength is unreal. And then obviously over time you do it less and less and less, and you become like less strong in your upper body. So actually having a baby is like a workout on its own. And the other thing I remember a friend saying to me was about that weight of a car seat. Whoa, that is unreal. I used to have to carry my daughter up 2 flights of stairs in a car seat in our flat when she was small, and wow, was I strong. It was untrue. But yeah, so that was the pull movement. And then finally the push movement. So this is when you are moving something away from your body. So again, if you've got young children, this is a movement which is so common because you're constantly pushing a pram, you are moving things around, moving shopping bags, all of these things. So the push movement is another one. So those are the 4 which I would say are the ones which mums use the most: squats, hinge movements, pull movements, and push movements. But sometimes you might use these in combination with another movement pattern, which is rotation. So you don't always do things in perfect form. So quite often when you go to the gym or if you exercise, you do things in a kind of more one-dimensional way. You make a movement which goes just in a horizontal or a vertical plane. But actually, especially when you've got children, quite often these movements you have to do, or you end up doing, with some kind of rotation, whether you're moving them like car seats again, unbelievable. Like when you're trying to get a small child out of a car seat in a car park when a car is parked so close to you, your body is not doing good form in any way. So you need to be able to have your body strong enough and practiced at moving in slightly awkward ways to allow it to be strong to deal with this. Because sometimes it's when you do these awkward movements, such as getting a baby out of a car when another car is parked so close to you that you're doing it in some contortionated way, that's when you can hurt yourself and that's when you can get injured. But if you practice these movements and you add something like rotation, it can help you be even stronger so that all activities that you're doing on a daily basis become much easier. So with these in mind, I have got a few exercises which I think are really fundamental and really can help as a mum practice these functional movements that you do on a day-to-day basis. So my first one, that if you wanted to just start a very small, simple exercise practice at home, I would try these 3 movements just to start with and then build up gradually. So the first one that I would suggest is doing squats. So bodyweight squats are fantastic. They strengthen your legs, they strengthen your glutes, your bottom muscles, and they're really good for lifting the children without straining your back. So the first one that I would put into a small exercise routine would be the bodyweight squat. The second one that I would add would be something which practices the hip hinge. So this can help you to lift safely, put away toys, lift up laundry baskets, shopping, the children, dreaded car seat I've already been through. So I would do some kind of like hip hinge exercise, such as like a deadlift pattern maybe. And if you're not at a gym or if you're not at home or you don't have access to dumbbells or something like that, I would just get a backpack, put something in it to make it heavy. I don't know, maybe like 100 books, like my daughter's got in her school bag, and practice a deadlift pattern, because this helps this hip hinge that we've been talking about, and therefore it helps with those picking up movements, those unloading the dishwasher movements where you hinge in a certain way to be in a certain position. An alternative to this kind of deadlift pattern is a glute bridge, because when you are lying on the floor and you're pushing your glutes up, you are taking your you are moving where you're moving those hips from a flexed to an extended position and then back again. So a glute bridge can be another way to practice this. My third movement for you to try, which helps especially with the pull movement pattern that we were talking about, is a bent over row. So you can do this using dumbbells or using resistance bands, but the bent over row can support your posture and it can help your upper body strength, which can be especially helpful after hours of holding your baby, picking up your baby, putting down your baby, or staying in that kind of position for breastfeeding. If you've got a baby kind of latched on and you're in a slightly kind of awkward position where you're kind of pulling them towards you, doing a bent over row can really help to strengthen those muscles around that. So those would be my 3 exercises that maybe I would try at home, with all quite simple to do, and they should help with functional movement patterns. So if you need any help with any ideas to help you with functional movement, to think about movement patterns that you're doing regularly, to think, actually, I need to strengthen this, that, or the other, get in contact. I would love to help you. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook and I will get back to you. So my key takeaways here: movement doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be time consuming. But if you think about what you do and try and kind of, I know as a mum you don't have time to think about this, but move it in a way which is optimal to help you throughout the day, to alleviate these aches and pains so that everything is much, much easier. This will support you in what you do on a daily basis and just make things feel that little bit easier. So thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, if you want to get involved with my Summer Body Confidence Challenge, the link is in the show notes. I'd love as many women to feel as fabulous as they can all year long, not just in the summer. So please get involved. Thanks so much for listening and have a brilliant week.